Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. I'm back with Ben Foster. How you doing, Ben?
Lovely, thank you.
Not done one for a while, but what a recap of United we've got. A crazy time in the United fan base at the moment because we should be happy like me, but a lot of people are still saying Ten Hag out, despite the fact he's won 4 games in a row. I don't get it. It's happening with West Ham, Arteta out, Arsenal. It's the modern football fan, maybe. Get your comments in below. But I want to talk about Ten Hag. I want to talk about your thoughts on United. Obviously, Dan Ashworth's in his garden, cutting his grass at the moment on gardening leave. There's all sorts going on. But first of all, let's talk about United. Let's talk about Ten Hag. New contracts, new Ineos. Do you think that is now the time with the structure, the results? It doesn't feel like they should be waiting until the end of the season. Do you think they should just be stepping forward now and go, this is the guy we're going to build upon? Because it does create that vacuum of air that people can start going, nah, I don't like his tactics and stuff like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think if that's the guy that they want, if Dave Brailsford and Jim Ratcliffe and Dan Ashworth, apparently, if they've all come together and decided that he is the guy that they want to move forward with and to be the manager, then they need to tie him down. Simple as that. Like I say, it stops all those conversations, doesn't it? The fact that we're having this conversation, the fact that there's still people saying Ten Hag out. I think if you give him a new contract, he just puts all of them to bed and it says, right, no, we are committed to this guy. We believe in him, so we're going to go for it. And I don't see why not either, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think there's, who else are you going to go and get that's going to be able to come straight in and be able to sort of change the way that Manchester United are going. They're on an upward trend. The last, like say, 4 wins in a row have been fantastic. And they're playing better football and they're looking like they're going to score goals. They do look like they're going to concede still. Don't get me wrong. But they look like they're going to score goals now.
Yeah, get in the comments below because it's all about opinion. If you do think he deserves a contract, how long would you give him? If you don't, tell us why and what you would do because it's all very easy. I hear a lot of people like West Ham fans, like I say, get rid of Moyes, but who are you going to get?
Exactly that.
Get you in the top
football
8?
Fans, you've got to think of it like a business. Like football clubs have to run like a business. They have to have contingency plans in there. So if you are going to sack somebody, you have to have somebody lined up already, all right? And I just don't know who's available or who you're going to get that's going to come and fill that void. I really don't, because if you're going to go and poach somebody, if you're going to get somebody like a Xavi Alonso, you're going to have to pay serious compensation nowadays. You are.
And also, it's football fandom without accountability. I mean, I think fans are so fickle these days, but they're more than happy to say sack the manager, and then I'll say, right, get in the comments and tell us who's coming in. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like you can't sack someone without actually having a plan. That's not how it works. But look, let's play devil's advocate here. We were talking just off air and you said, you know what, in fairness, good 4 results for United, but every one of those games, even the West Ham game, because it's 1-0 at half-time, and I think Emerson shoots instead of cutting it back.
Yeah, Emerson had a really good chance, yeah.
It's 4 really good wins for United, and I'm buzzing, and there seems to be a momentum, and you buy your own luck, which United couldn't buy before Christmas, and I don't think it's coincidental that Ineos come in, the team is more settled, there's a bit more of a future plan, and you're getting that roll of the dice. Could you see, are you seeing enough in the way United are playing? I mean, some people describe the Luton game as a lucky escape. I mean, I think United had more than enough chances, better chances than Luton.
I think people will just be blinded by the fact that Luton had chances.
Yeah.
I think they'll have seen that Luton had a couple real good chances to score a couple goals. I think if you look at the way the game played out, Man United could have scored 4 or 5 goals. They could have. They could have scored 4 or 5 goals. And Luton could have scored 2 or 3. In all honesty, they couldn't they? So I think if you look at the balance of play, Man United probably did still deserve to win and did enough to win. And I think that's the way football goes. Most of the time, you only take about sort of, I don't know, 30% of your chances or whatever it is, or half your chances. So that's the way the game played out. But it's been the case with quite a lot of the games that we've seen Man United play recently. They've won the game, which is fantastic, but they are conceding chances. And I think a lot of people tend to forget that Man United have had good chances as well. Man United get an awful lot of chances, and they are creating chances, which is a good thing, because earlier in the season they didn't look like they were going to score a lot of goals. Now they're looking like they're going to score goals, but they are definitely still conceding chances, which worries me a little bit, because I think, look at the big boys. You look at your Liverpools and your Man City. They create a lot of chances, they score a lot of goals, and they're quite tight at the back. They don't actually give many chances away, and that's the reason why they are 1 and 2.
I think it's a great point. I mean, just to cap up on that before we talk about that, Ten Hag, you'd give him a new contract?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would as well.
Yeah.
I would give him the contract, get on with it. And apparently David Ornstein said yesterday on the news that Ineos do see him as the man for the now that they want to get behind. And I think, look, I'm not talking about a 3-year contract. I'm saying this season's been so disruptive. I'd give him another year and see where we are in a year's time. But certainly I think you've got to start that off with him. But I do agree with the defence. You're absolutely spot on. We conceded... Did we beat Wolves 4-3 or was it 3-2? It seems a long time ago.
Oh, it was. What was it, lads? 4-3 or 3-2, the Wolves game? 3-2. 4-3.
4-3. So 3
yeah,
there. Villa away. I mean, they had a lot of chances.
A lot of chances, yeah.
West Ham were wasteful. And then Luton, I actually think United conceded less chances against Luton. A lot of their shots were from around there. But what do you think as a goalkeeper yourself? What's the problem with the defence? I'm not saying it's an honour. I'm saying as a goalkeeper, you can see how your defence is set up. What is it with United? Because to be fair, you look at it, you've got Martinez. Best defence is Martinez, Varane, Delot, Shaw, and then Casemiro in front. Second half yesterday, you've got no Shaw, Martinez or Casemiro again.
Yeah.
You've got Lindelof at left back. I mean, Johnny Evans came on and did brilliantly well. Yeah. Is it as simple as that, or do you actually think it's a tactical?
It's not necessarily having chances created against you isn't necessarily a symptom of your defence or a bad defence. It's the whole team. You know what I mean? If the ball gets put forward and and the ball doesn't stick up there and it gets easily lost or nicked by that midfielder or that defender, then the ball's back on you and you're on your back foot again and you're defending. So it's a team thing, and a lot of people look at it and go, well, and a lot of people will look at it and say, we're conceding chances because of our defence, and it's not because of your defence. You get overrun. The defenders are there as a last resort. Basically, they have to defend. So for it to get to that point, something has already gone wrong in the chain somewhere. And I just think, like you say, yesterday especially against Luton, you're not playing your preferred back four. Casemiro comes off at half time, which I think he was lucky to get to half time, to be perfectly honest with you, because the way referee, like I said, the way referee was just chucking yellow cards about the place. It is a miracle that he made it to half-time. But you thank your lucky stars. He did the right thing. He took him off, got him out of the firing line, because he knew that one more little challenge, one more silly something from Casemiro there, it's a red card, straight as that. But yeah, it's not always the defence's fault or the goalkeeper's fault. It's you've got to look at it as a team, 11 people.
United this season, they've got themselves right back in the top four race. I think I saw some stat last week, was mentioning it to the chat. Apparently, there is a 77% chance that England will get a fifth spot in the Champions League based on this coefficients thing. So probably going to be top five. Would you put United in the top five now at the expense of a Villa and Spurs? Because that's what it is. It's going to be 2 from 3 if it's top five.
So I'm looking at the league table in front of me now. United are 6th on 44, Spurs 5th on 47, and Villa 4th on 49. So 5 points off Villa in 4th.
It's a hell of a turnaround in a month.
It's a hell of a turnaround.
Ago, I'd have said no chance.
Mate, all season long, not even a month ago, all season long you've been asking me that question. Top 4, I'm going no chance. Absolutely no chance. Nowhere near it. There's 4 better teams by far.
But that's what happens if you win 3 games in a row in this league. I mean, we know Villa, we know Arsenal, Liverpool and City are going to do that. Yeah. But below that, you win 3-4 games in a row in this league, and it's massive, isn't it?
It might even come between the games that you play against the Villas and the Tottenham. The Villa victory a few weeks ago was massive.
It's like a 9 point.
It's massive. It is. It's absolutely massive. But Tottenham, again, there's a lot of people. I'm listening to radio this morning. Everybody saying, "Oh, Tottenham have been found out. They've only got one style of play," and it's But to be fair, if you watch that Wolves game, the amount of counter-attacking chances Wolves had was phenomenal, mate. Phenomenal. Wolves are a good team. Don't get me wrong, but Tottenham chuck everybody at it, and if teams know that that's what they're going to do, they will go, all right, cool, you just chuck it at it, we'll sit in deep, and then the second we win the ball back, spring. Everybody spring, and that's what Wolves did on Saturday against Spurs, and it was so effective, and that's the reason why they won the game. So it is a little bit of a worry for Spurs. They might need to mix it up a little bit, but I think Man United, if they can just continue this run, keep the wins coming, and they've got luck on their side at this minute as well, and also, not only have they got luck on their side and they're winning games, they've it's like everything's a good news story for Man United. The good news stories just keep coming. Dan Ashworth coming in, you know.
What do you think about that?
I think it's fantastic. It's brilliant. I've worked with Dan Ashworth at West Brom when I was younger, and he was...
What did he do, like you masseur or something?
No, he was brilliant, mate, honestly. He was the guy that signed me.
What was he at West Brom?
So,
he went to
the same thing,
England after
exactly the same thing at West Brom. So he's done fantastic, by the way. He went West Brom, he went to England, Brighton, Newcastle, and then Man United, we all suppose. Well, you would imagine...
Either that or he's cutting his grass for 2 years.
Listen,
apparently Newcastle have put him on gardening leave.
Listen, the fact that Dan Ashworth hasn't come out and said, I'm not leaving, means that he's leaving.
And the fact that Newcastle have apparently blocked his computer access and told him to go and cut the grass.
Honestly.
Come round mine, Dan. My garden's overrun.
It's massive as well, your garden as well, isn't it? Massive. Acres.
Artificial grass, actually.
Acres. But yeah, Dan Ashworth is the fact that he hasn't said anything. The silence is deafening, basically. The silence says it all. That's all you need to do. By not saying anything, you're saying everything.
Like Ronan Keating sang, "You say it best."
Exactly that. Exactly that.
He'll be singing "Sorry" soon as well.
So he will be on his way to Manchester United, and I think it's a brilliant signing because he's a guy that he really does his due diligence on the players that he's about to sign. He will not sign anybody that is a dickhead. Simple as that. Put it simply as you want. He won't sign dickheads. He won't. He don't care if you've got 10 million Instagram followers or a YouTube channel.
Will he get rid of dickheads?
He will get rid of every dickhead from throughout the club, from top to bottom. Staff, you're talking masseurs, physios, you're talking the senior people. He will get rid of everybody because he knows how a football club should be run. He knows what people you need in what positions, in what departments, and how it should be run. And that trickles all the way down into the playing staff as well.
So what's his personality? Is he like is he a computer geek or is he a people person?
People person.
He knows his football.
He knows his football. Yeah. He's smart. He's direct. He's clever with when it comes to wages. I remember I was signing from Birmingham, and I just had a fantastic season at Birmingham. Unfortunately, we got relegated, but it was a season that we won the League Cup as well. I got Player of the Year at Birmingham, and I was signing on loan for West Brom because West Brom at that time didn't have the money to buy me. And he was. I remember negotiating my contract, and bearing in mind they're loaning me, so normally you would just take on my contract for a year. He was trying to negotiate down. He was trying to give me less wages, and
it's not like FIFA then, where you do a 50-50 split.
No, it's always completely different. It's completely different depending on the player, the wage, everything. Sometimes the loan club can pay all the wages. Sometimes the other club. It depends. It absolutely depends. But he was trying to negotiate down, and we had to wait till the last second. Very last second to actually just get our wages for the year, sort of thing. But he was absolutely brilliant. Everybody at the club loved him. The players thought he was fantastic because he's direct and he will tell you the truth. There's no sugarcoating it. He will tell you the truth. He'll call a spade, and I think people like that when they know where they are and they know where they're sat. People will take that.
Good. I think it'll be massively beneficial. I think it will work for Ten Hag. Obviously got the new CEO coming in, and you're right. I think last night I said, even though and I didn't even check the replies on Twitter. It was my last tweet of the evening, and I said, you know what, not felt so positive about United in years.
Yeah, it's true.
And the replies I knew would be, it's only Luton, but it's not about that. It's not just results. I'm fully awake to the fact that some of those games could have gone either way, but they didn't go either way. And I think you're right. They didn't go either way because the team, we've spoken about it so many times, they're weak.
Yeah.
But they're not playing weak at the moment. They're not playing brilliant, but they're not. There is a unity there, and then there's things going on behind the pitch that, with all due respect, well, no respect actually. The previous CEO was a banker. The current director of football has been over-promoted, and the Glazers haven't got a clue about football. Yeah. Well, now you've got Ineos, who've got Sir David Brailsford, who's obviously a master tactician in sport. You've got a guy that Man City are gutted about losing in Barada, and then you've got Dan Ashworth, who, look, it's great for Man United. I actually feel sorry for Newcastle. I mean, that is going to destroy their plans for the summer to lose.
That's a massive blow, honestly.
In basically March, it's massive.
That is a massive blow, and you can imagine the Saudis aren't used to people saying that'll
There's
do.
Qatar now, Saudi. What's going on at United?
Honestly,
taking on the Middle East.
It's not. That's not the done thing. It's not going to go down well with Newcastle. I promise you that. This will be a big old fallout. I don't know how it's going to work and how much Man United are going to have to pay for him, because they are going to have to pay something. I promise you that.
It's like a player, isn't it? You know, if you're my goalkeeper and you want to go to Man United and you say to me privately, I want to go to Man United, and I know
they're a big rival.
The relationship's gone, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't say, Ben, you definitely stay and be happy. Yeah. You've got to do something about it. And like you say, in business, it's a really hard thing for them to digest. Then they can say you're not going anywhere for 2 years, but realistically,
nobody wins like that, do they? Nobody wins like that. It'll be a fantastic sign. It'll be interesting to see exactly the details of the deal, but the future looks bright. The brightest it's looked in a long time.
I was going to ask you just finally. You know, we were talking there and we got onto the Ashworth, which was great. I'm sure everyone is going to love that. Get your comments in. But with regards to this team, it's not like, I think I was talking about this yesterday on the watch along. United have won 4 games. If this team gets top 4 in Champions League football, traditionally the Glazers would go to the manager and go, you don't need anyone. Look what you've had a load of injuries and you've still got top 4. You probably win the league with this team. I think everybody in the world knows United aren't going to do that.
Do you know what the mad thing about Man United is? Man United could have a much better team, and pay much less wages. In honestly, I think in a few years' time, 3 or 4 years' time, when the new owners, Dan Ashworth, They've all had real chance to do something with this team, really do something with this team. They're going to have a much better team on a much lower wage bill.
Look at Spurs. They're a better team than United to watch this season. Their wages won't be anywhere near.
Nowhere near it.
Apparently, I saw something last week, actually, and it was some UEFA thing, that United assembled the most expensive squad in the world.
Yes.
Ever.
Yeah.
Last season.
It's scary.
And it is scary.
The wages are a joke.
What would you do? What would you do if you were Dan Ashworth in the summer? Is there certain players that you're looking at in that potential cull that you go, and it's not necessarily about, disliking those players. It's about rebuilding that club, removing wages. Do you think there's some players? I'll phrase it a different way. Do you think there's some players that might be worried? I mean, obviously you had the Belfast thing with Rashford. PSG are interested. He's on massive wages. I think he did okay against Luton. I think he did okay at West Ham, but he's not the star of the team anymore. They might look at that. Bruno's been bad for 4 or 5 games. I mean, I'd never get rid of Bruno and Rashford, but some people say they would.
Do you know what? It doesn't matter how good they are on the pitch. I promise you, it doesn't matter how good they are on the pitch. Dan Ashworth is going to go in there and he'll talk to everybody he can possibly talk to. He'll talk to the players. He'll talk to everybody throughout that football club, and he'll find out who the dickheads are. He'll weed them out, I promise you. And if they are a dickhead, they won't have a future at Manchester United. So it doesn't matter how good they are. It doesn't matter if he's a star player on the pitch on a Saturday afternoon. That dickhead will have a negative effect on the football team. Week to week to week to week, and he will get rid of that.
And that could be an 18-year-old, it could be a 26-year-old.
It doesn't matter. I don't care. It doesn't matter who you are. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He will keep the good guys around. He will keep if you're a 35-year-old, you've got no resale value, nothing, but you're a really good egg. You're great. You're great around the place. You're professional. You set the standard for all the other lads, and you might play 12, 15 games a season. He'll keep you around because he knows that's what people will look up to and go, that's what I want to aspire to be, is that level of professional and that level of a good person. He'll keep them guys around so they're safe, but the ones who, selfish, unprofessional, not team players, you better watch your back.
Interesting. Get your comments in below. Loved all that. Thanks for coming back on, Ben.
Pleasure.
Loved the Dan Ashworth chat.
Yeah, he's a good guy, mate. He's going to do wonders for United.
There we go. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Speak to you all later.
See you soon.